Hello, everyone. By now, you've learned how to create different parts in Inventor by using the rectangle command and extruding and cutting and using the point command. We're going to look at one more command, which is going to be the line command. And to do that, we're going to do this bracket. So this is drawing of the bracket that we see here, and we're just going to follow along. And there's a couple different ways to use the line command. We can physically go and use the line command and trace the outside of this and then dimension it, or we can use what's called a direct input. And as we draw the lines, we can tell them how far or what the length of the line we need it to be. So that's the way I'm going to do it this time, since we've already done the dimension command. I want to show you the direct input, and this will really help you out when you start doing your puzzle pieces, or some of the other parts that you're going to do for your final project. So I'm going to start here, and this is going to be the bracket that I'm drawing. And I already have Inventor opened up, and I already have a new part file created. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to start a 2D sketch, and I'm going to select the XY plane. And I'm going to go and start sketching on here. And when I look at the drawing here, I'm going to select any point to start off first. So for me, I'm going to start this bottom point and work my way down and around. So essentially, I'm just drawing this part or this face right here, and then I'll extrude it back. So I'm going to start on this part here. So I'm going to first select my line tool and select on a corner here, and I'll draw this line going across. So I'm going to go to Inventor. So the line tool is up here. And remember, Inventor is a click and click program when we start drawing with lines. If I were to click and hold or click and drag, it's going to end up creating an arc. But so we just want to make sure we click and click the other endpoint. So on here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that corner. And notice now that I have my line going around. And notice in the center here, you can see the blue icon or the blue numbers there. That's telling me how far the line is. And I can physically go and type. But if you notice where the degree symbol is, right now it says 11.31. So we want to make sure, because I know it's going to be a straight line, I want to make sure it's at 0 degrees when I go and type in how far I want this line to be. So I'm going to go and look at my drawing here, and I want this part here, this bottom line right here. And notice that my dimension goes from the corner to the far edge over here. So I need to do a little bit of mathematical work, and I need to subtract this 0.75 away from the 5.25. So if we do the mathematical work, we're going to get 4.5. So I'm going to draw this line at 4.5. So I'm going to go back in, and I still have my line connected. So I'm at 0 degrees, and I'm simply just going to type 4.5 and hit enter. And notice it goes off the screen like we have been before, like when we dimension it, and it goes off the screen. So I'm going to hit my zoom all button over here, or I can use the wheel of my mouse to zoom out. And notice how my line is still staying connected. So I can keep drawing from there, and I'm just going to keep going around and tracing. So I'm going to go back to my bracket. So I'm at this point here, and I'm going to move in a downward motion. And same thing, I do not know what this line is going to be. So I have to do some mathematical work. So if I look at this overall height of this, it's going to be 1.5. But I'm going from here down to the bottom. So I need to subtract this thickness here to get the bottom. So that's going to be 0.75. So when I go and draw down, 1.5 minus 0.75 is going to be 0.75. So I'm already attached here. So I want to make sure I'm at 0 degrees. And I'm going to type in 0.75. That will give me that portion there. So I have this line. I have the vertical line. So if I look at this, I need to go back across. And essentially, I'm just going to keep on sketching going across. So I'm going to go 0.75 now because I'm here. I'm going to go across. So 0.75. Enter. Make sure, again, you're drawing straight lines. Make sure that's either at like a 90 degree or 180 degree or a 0 degree. Make sure you're drawing in a straight line. So line tool. Now I'm going to go up here, which is 1.5. I'm going to go across. And when I go across, again, I know this portion here to here, but I need to subtract that. So this portion here, like we did here, is going to be 4.5. Up 0.75. Move over 0.75. And then I should be back to my beginning. Oh, when I'm done with the command, I can just push the escape on my keyboard and that will get me out of the line command. So now I have this drawn out with my line tool. I'm going to hit finish sketch and I'm going to extrude it. And let's see what my thickness is. My thickness is 1.75. So 1.75. And there's my block. So again, that was using a line tool. It's a little bit quicker than if I were to have to make all of these rectangles and join them together. The line tool is easy enough to trace around. So this will be helpful in items in your like pegboard or your puzzle piece where you have to make like triangles or different customized parts that you can use this line command to quickly sketch around the outside of an image.